Thanks for logging on to Wayne.com for another edition of Inside the Zone. He's Tom Davis of the News Sentinel. I'm Glenn Marini, and this week it's all about the postseason sectionals kicking off on Friday night, and we got plenty to talk about. What was your first reaction when you saw the sectional draw coming out last Tuesday?
The number of great matchups in each of the classes. Somehow, randomly, luck of the draw, good teams are facing good teams, and then some of the teams that are struggling are facing teams that are likewise struggling, and so very competitive matchups in the very first week. There's not any dilly-dallying around. They're getting right to it.
Let's start off with the biggest schools. We're talking about Class 5A, Sectional 3, and this is one that Snyder has pretty much owned, at least in years past, but Homestead's got a better team this year. You see Huntington North at Northside, Kokomo at Snyder, Homestead at Carroll, Warsaw at Northrop. I want to talk about the Kokomo and Snyder game and the Homestead and Carroll game, because Kokomo comes in a pretty hot team, one of the teams around the state that just looks really good, but Snyder's played better competition week in and week out. This is going to be one of the premier games in 5A across the state.
It will be, but that's what you'll learn once you get into tournament play, is how good Fort Wayne football actually is, because they start playing teams from outside the area, and really Fort Wayne football is a level that's a notch above most areas in this state. Kokomo is undefeated. They're the North Central Conference champions, so give them credit for that. However, Snyder is very, very good, and they showed that in their narrow loss to Dwenger 2 weeks ago. So I really look for Snyder to be able to pull this out, even though they are playing an unbeaten Kokomo team. And it's not going to be easy, but I think that Snyder can get it done because they're so balanced, both offensively and defensively. And if the weather is good, the field's dry, they'll be able to run the ball pretty well.
And they'll be playing that game at Wayne High School, kind of an off-site for them, because on the bottom half of this bracket, you see Northrop is also at home, so Spooler Stadium going to the Bruins. When you take a look at this bracket, you see the winner of Snyder Kokomo probably going to win the top. Then you also see Homestead is the team that would be most favored. What's the difference between a Snyder and a Homestead matchup that we saw last year in the first round of the playoffs, where Snyder dominated that game, and a possible sectional championship matchup between those two teams this year?
Well, if memory serves me correctly, Homestead played in bad weather last year against Snyder, and they really struggle in bad weather. They showed that 2 weeks ago in their loss to Norwell. If they can get on field turf in bad weather, they're okay at their home stadium, but when they have to go in the mud, it really slows that dynamic offense down. And so if they can get some decent weather conditions, I think that they can hang with Snyder, but I like Snyder in that sectional just because of their balance. But Homestead, I do want to give them props because they bounced back after that devastating loss to Norwell and had a convincing win last week. So they're fired up and ready to go.